The Shawshank Redemption asked, "Who are you beyond your circumstances?" Marnie, in The Silence of the Lambs, asked, "Who are you beyond your past?" The Truman Show asked, "Who are you beyond what others expect you to be?" Ikaru asked, "What will you do with the life that is finally yours?" And It's a Wonderful Life asked, "Could your life already matter more than you realize?" But that leaves us with a practical question: how do we become the kind of person whose ordinary life makes a difference? Perhaps not through one grand decision, but through the way we live an ordinary day and then another and another. That is why Groundhog Day must be the sixth film in this journey. Phil Connors is an intelligent, successful, and profoundly self centered television weatherman. He travels to Punxsutawney to cover its Groundhog Day celebration. He dislikes the assignment, dismisses the town, and treats almost everyone around him as an inconvenience. Phil is physically present, but emotionally, he is already waiting for tomorrow. Then tomorrow refuses to arrive. He wakes to the same song, meets the same people, covers the same celebration, and every morning, February 2nd, begins again. Phil has become incarcerated in the winter morning, not by space, but by time. At first, there is disbelief, then confusion, then anxiety. But soon, Phil makes a dangerous discovery. If there is no tomorrow, perhaps there are no consequences. He eats, drinks, steals, and drives recklessly. He uses what he learns about people to manipulate them. Time appears to have liberated him, but freedom without responsibility does not make Phil more alive. It merely gives his selfishness a larger playground. He can possess almost anything for a day, but he cannot make anything last. He can learn everything about Rita, but information about another person is not the same as understanding them. Affection cannot be manufactured through superior information. It must emerge from the person we have become. Gradually, pleasure becomes boredom. Boredom becomes helplessness, and helplessness becomes despair. Phil tries to destroy the day. Then he tries to destroy himself. But every morning the song begins again. This is where Groundhog Day becomes more than a clever comedy. The time loop is not Phil's deepest prison. Phil is. The enemy lies within. His egocentrism, his contempt, his belief that other people exist mainly as supporting characters in his life. At first, Phil keeps asking, "How can I escape this day?" Slowly, another question emerges: "How can I live this day?" He reads, learns music, practices ice sculpture, but becoming more accomplished is not the same as becoming more humane. The deeper transformation begins when Phil starts paying attention. He notices the boy falling from a tree, the man choking in a restaurant, the woman struggling with a flat tire. The day has not changed. The town has not changed. What changes is the quality of Phil's attention. The man who once noticed only inconvenience now notices need. And this is where Groundhog Day completes the conversation begun by "It's a Wonderful Life." George Bailey discovers that a lifetime of small actions has mattered. Phil Connors learns how such a life is created, not through one heroic achievement, but through ordinary acts repeated until goodness is no longer a performance, but part of who we are. Phil's transformation is not produced by introspection alone. Introspection helps him recognize the prison. Practice helps him leave it. He also discovers that he cannot control every outcome. Despite repeated attempts, he cannot save an elderly, homeless man. A meaningful life does not require us to control everything. It asks us to respond where we can, even after discovering that we cannot save everyone. Eventually, Phil stops living the day merely to escape it. He stops helping people to impress Rita. He begins living meaningfully without any assurance that tomorrow will come. And then it does. February 3 arrives. But perhaps Phil does not escape because he discovers the correct formula. Perhaps he escapes because he has finally learned to make February 2 worth living, even if it were the only day he would ever have. Years ago, I understood this film as a journey from incarceration through introspection towards redemption and hope. I still believe that, but now I now see something more. Hope arrives when insight becomes action, when resolve becomes practice, when practice becomes character, and when character begins changing the lives around it. Most of us also live inside repetitions, the same workplace, the same responsibilities, the same frustrations. We keep waiting for a different job, a different relationship, or a different tomorrow before deciding to become different ourselves. But repetition need not become our prison, it can become our practice ground. Perhaps a meaningful life is not created on the extraordinary day when everything changes. Perhaps it is created when we bring a different self to a day that appears exactly the same. Before we leave, three questions worth living with. Question 1: What part of my daily life feels repetitive because I've stopped paying attention to it? Question 2. Am I waiting for my circumstances to change before changing the way I live within them? Question 3. What small act repeated every day might slowly change the person I become? There are no perfect answers, only honest ones. Until next week, keep watching, keep wondering, and remember great movies reveal themselves slowly.